for us to try to figure out and follow the facts. Let me explain. Most people, especially when I ask you guys the question, how many of you would lock your doors at night? Most people says I lock my doors at night. But out there, many of the neighbors were saying, "Oh, we didn't lock our doors." In fact, one couple up in age, they came out. I actually recorded it. She said that her parents had lived there 50 years. The father passed away recently, and the mother went into a rest home, okay? Retirement home, whatever you want to call it. They never locked their doors, and they would never lock the garage, right? And sometimes other neighbors would come over, and if they needed something, they could just go right in. That's the type of way these people in that neighborhood interacted. So you can't really look at it and say, well, how in the world did she not lock her doors? Because that's something that's common to men and women in that area, but you're not going to understand it. So I think the key, I want to, Mama Flips is ready to come on. I'll just wait to really get further into this with her. But I will say that I think that the feds um, were hitting a real big wall on my last day there. And that's what I reported to you guys. It seems like at first I thought they had someone that they were focusing on. But we have a lady that's waiting in the wing potentially. We still have hope that she's alive. When I was leaving town, they had Homeland Security coming in to go into Mexico, and they felt like maybe she was in Mexico. That hasn't been reported. So, you guys, I reported it to the members the other day, so now I'm comfortable saying it here to the subscribers. But there's a reason why Homeland Security has gone into Mexico, no doubt about it. And also, before I had went out there, I kind of felt like the ransom letters were bogus. But after going out there myself and trying to understand, because let me just give you this quick scenario so you guys can understand. Last Saturday night, I was on Anjanette Levy's show. She's with Law and Crime. And I explained to her audience, and I'm going to explain to you guys really quick, all right? So try to roll with me because I want to bring on Mama Flips really quick too. Immediately when I arrived there, Alex had helped me understand a few things that were. You ever heard the song by Marvin Gaye? I heard it through the grapevine. So we heard some things through the grapevine, and this is how it came out. Now, even before I went out there, I had told you guys that when they released the video of the man coming through the front door or whatever he was doing, they also released a steel frame. And I told you, if you look at the steel frame, the guy has on different shoes. So not only does he not have on the backpack and the gun at his midsection, he has on two-tone shoes with the steel frame, but with the video, he has on all white shoes, okay? So that's just something I went out there thinking about. But when I got there, I heard the rumor that the steel frame was potentially from January the 11th. And remember, the authorities had also focused in, they wanted to see camera footage from January the 11th. Now, this rumor said that this frame shot was from January the 11th, almost like the person was surveying her area to try to, maybe they were planning on going in that night and chose not to. Now, keep in mind, also on January the 11th, someone is Googling information about her and also potentially the daughter, right? So, January the 11th, there's a lot happening. Authorities want to see footage from January the 11th. But here's a rumor that I heard too. Now, I want to let you guys know this is a rumor, okay? Because mainstream media has been listening to our channels and trying to hold us accountable, but I want to make it clear. The rumor that's coupled with the fact that in the steel frame is January the 11th and is some sort of test run, that the person went around back and broke the floodlight January the 11th. That's the room. Those are the two rumors that I heard together. I mentioned it Saturday night when I was on Anjanette Levy's channel, okay? Well, lo and behold, as I was leaving town on Tuesday, you get all of the mainstream media reporting that the steel frame is from an earlier night, right? Which would make sense. Why would the guy go change his shoes out? I mean, it could happen, right? But why would he change his shoes? In other words, some people said, I heard on some of the bigger channels, that maybe the person came to the house, didn't have on the backpack the gun, right? Obviously, different shoes. Okay, even the moon is different in the back. The sky is different, but that could be too far fetched to speculate. I get it, right? But if you look at the difference in the frame and the video, the moon appears to be different. So some people felt like it was all in one night. Now we're starting to hear, but they say the sheriff is backtracking on that, saying, "Oh, that's unconfirmed too." So we really don't know. That's what makes it so complicated. I'm just giving you guys some things that were said. You can come to your own conclusion because you're not just listening to me, you're listening to an abundance of people, and we all kind of do that and come to our own ideas about different matters, okay? So here's the deal. I also heard that in the first letter that came from this ransom, okay, that they talked about her Apple Watch, the white Apple Watch being at the foot of the bed. Different sources has reported on that, okay? So they also said that in the first letter, the person mentions damaging or destroying the floodlight out back. Okay, so you're starting to see. So let's go back, and I'm not saying that this any of this is factual, but I'm just giving you a timeline of what I heard. Okay, so basically, she goes missing, and we start getting the reports. Remember the early on press reports, and I know I have to bring on Mama Flip, so maybe I'll hold off on going through this whole timeline. Let me bring her on, and I'll get back to this. I'm sorry, I don't want to keep her waiting forever. Mama Flips, how are you?
I'm fine. No, you could have left me because I'm listening too. So you could put me back and finish the timeline, and we could talk about it
No,
because I'm
it's
really,
okay. It's okay. I can go back to it. It's all right. I won't forget.
I
So anyway, at any rate, is there any updates in regards to? First of all, how are you doing?
doing fine. I'm doing okay. Yes.
Okay, very good. And you have all your people on, and you're all set to go.
Yes. Yes. I'm on. Yep. I have all my social media.
Okay, so before I went out to Arizona, I was covering the Alexander brothers.
Yes.
So perhaps you could give us an update on that case out of New York City.
Well, I don't have any specific updates on the case. I haven't been there because of the snowstorm. I was planning on going today, but ended up because of snowstorm and the trans traffic, I couldn't get there. But I'm planning on going there tomorrow. My understanding is that the defense is closing their case. Not the defense, the government is closing their case, and then the defense is going to take up and bring their witnesses, and based on some of the stuff that I reviewed, because I sometimes look also at the court documents, and there's various links to keep us updated what's going on. Apparently, one of the jurors was out, couldn't get to the hearing on the 25th, which surprised me that they actually still had the trial on the 25th because of the snowstorm, but they did, so they replaced them. So I think one of the concerns that's being revved up is that they are not going to have enough jurors to complete the case. And if they lose all the jury, they have to, have a hung jury and redo it all over again. So that's one of the things that I heard. I heard, like I mentioned to you, but several people has come out, especially AM News. I think AM News did an amazing follow through, and they're saying pretty much the same thing I told you last week, that the OJ Simpson lawyers which is Mark and Tinney, that also did Diddy trial. They're spending their time just trying to break down the survivor stories by getting into details that they provide to the government, and they keep trying to make them appear as if they're liars when they specifically have said over and over again that the reason why they don't remember the specific details is the fact that they were rugged also. They were not only raped, they were also rugged, right? So they're doing everything they possibly can to make these ladies appear to be liars, right? Another thing that makes me cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when it comes to them is the fact that they really want us to think that these guys are just womanizers, just like Diddy, right? Oh, he did no, he was just he had he was a fake corn artist. Oh, we could say certain words. So he did unprofessional porn, right? That's one of the things that they said about him, right? He was a director and a producer. That's why he wanted to do these different elaborate things with the ladies. And the fact that he also said that he didn't want a monogamous relationship, that he wants a polygamy relationship. So they're saying the same thing about the guys. Like they were just womanizers. They were rude, they were disrespectful, and the women knew what was about. The problem with this problem is that they were able, the government able to prove that some of these girls was exactly that, girls, right? In one case, one of the victims came in and she said she saw two 14-year-old girls going into the house, and she knew that
Mm.
they were 14-year-old. Now they now are going after the victims that why you didn't call the police. Like for example, the woman that says that two 14-year-old girls, you saw so the defense is asking them, okay, each of you guys saw what was happening in the house. Y'all alleges that they were not only raping you but raping others. So why didn't you call the cops? Why didn't you tell your parents? And with the young person that was there that says that she saw two 14-year-old because they were younger than me. Why didn't you call the police? What a lot of people don't understand, and I'm hoping that people begin to understand. First of all, there's no set rules when it comes to being a survivor essay. There's no such rules, right? People go through various trauma, and a lot of women blame themselves for what happened to them. And because of that, they try to push it in the back of my mind and they forget about it. Also, most of the people that they were using were kids.
Mm.
There was 14, 15, 16, 7-year-old, 17-year-old kids. And guess what? Depending on where you were in your life, there were things that you went through when you were in high school and school that you didn't tell your parents. And you would never think to tell your parents. And then you grow out of it, you put it in the back of your mind and you forget about it and you hope to never think about it again. And when you grow up, you think you forgot about it and you move on. And then you don't want your husband, your kids, your family, your job, nobody to know about those horrific things. These things happen. But they try to make them seem like they're crazy, that it's not possible. It's not possible they couldn't remember every detail when every single one of them said that they were rugged. Every single one of them talks about the drinks, about after they had a drink from one of the brothers, then they fall out and stuff like that, and they don't come consciousness. It's just very specific. So they're just trying to drag them down and just make them into liars, and they should know better. And they're hoes, and they were money hungry, and they just wanted to live the lifestyle, and they should expected it, and they accepted it. That's where we are with the brothers. So I'm waiting to go back to see what happened. I think they're probably the defenses. If they didn't close today, they're going to close tomorrow. And then not defense, the government. I'm sorry, the government. If they didn't close today, they're going to close tomorrow. And then the defense going to have their time. And I'm hearing the defense is going to bring in several witnesses, but they said the same thing about Diddy, right? That's going to give the characteristic and give positive characteristic of the brothers. Also, they're going to show several emails and texts that came after the event that happened, that some of the survivors would like reach back out to them and say that they had a good time and stuff like that. So they asked one of the survivors, I think one, either the government or the defense, because the defense has a right to cross-examine the survivor after the government question them. And they asked one of the survivors that, look, this is an email or text that you sent and you said everything was fine. She's like, yeah, I knew how wealthy they were and stuff like that, and I didn't want them to know that I was going to report it or tell about what happened to me. So they're going to just drag these survivors down, and we'll see what happens. I think my biggest concern is the juror. I don't want, because the thing is, if they lose the juror, because I think they ran out of juror. There was one juror who made up this mind and mentioned his decision was going to be, and they let him go. There was another juror that got sick, right, in the hospital, so they let him go. Now there's a third juror that couldn't come in, and I don't know why the judge didn't just release, just say come, That's what they did with Diddy trial. When one of the jurors got sick, they said, okay, everybody, thank you for coming in, go, and then we'll see you tomorrow. I don't know why the judge didn't do that. So that's a third juror. Now they're concerned that if they lose a juror, it's going to be hung juror, or they're going to let the trial go. And there's a theory that if they do that, then the guys are going to get away with it because the survivors are not going to want to come back and go through this trial all over again.
Okay, very good.
And
What do
Rugs
you?
is not a drink. Rugs is DRUG,
Okay,
substance. Hmm.
I thought it was interesting when they had the professionals come in, and I believe they were talking about. I think the word was confabulation. When a person has dementia, Alzheimer's, their brain starts to fill in the blanks, or when a person gets abused, or sometimes if something occurred many years ago, your attorney can pull you in and make you believe certain things happened to you. And so they call that confabulation. I guess that's the defense angle to try to show that these women could have been swayed by these civil attorneys and just making things up, right?
Hmm. They were talking about when I came in. I know that they were talking to the psychiatrist, the psychologist, and I had the psychologist's name, and I don't have my book out, but they were talking to the doctor, and they were trying to convince her. I mean, they were trying to have her agree with a study that apparently came out or was being discussed that social media could make you think that something occurred to you many years ago, and you could use the other survivor's story and make it into your own memory. And the doctor was like, "That's not true. It has not been proven that a survivor or someone who suffered a trauma would all of a sudden see something on social media and take it as their own trauma." She said that there's been discussion, but there hasn't been a study that says that that's actually accurate. But that's what they're trying to push. They're trying to push. I didn't hear them talking about so much of their lawyer. What I heard is that they were trying to, because we went at different times. So they're trying all kind of defense methods, right? But when I came in, they were trying to say that, oh, I'm guessing they were trying to refer to the Me Too movement, right? When everybody came out, because they're saying that most of these survivors didn't say anything for 17 years. And then all of a sudden, after like the Me Too movement and everybody's coming out, now they want to, now they want to come out and they want to say, hey, this happened to me. They're not paying attention to the fact that a lot of these survivors, because of the longevity, because of their age, and because there was a statute of limitation, this is why they didn't come out. But when the different states came out with these survival laws that says that you have a right to come out and tell your story, and you could sue in regards to what happened to you, and then it also allowed um, cases to be brought on that, right? Prosecution. That's why it made the survivors come out. One of the things that I really appreciated about the survivor that I saw is she said that she lived with this for 17 years, right? And she lived with it. She fought with it. She survived it. Then she heard they continued. And that's what she didn't expect. She's like, they continued all these years and I have to stop them. That's why a lot of them is coming out. There's a billionaire. I wish I was there in the trial with the billionaire daughter. There's two people. There was a successful artist and there's a billionaire. And the defense is digging in there. Oh, you suing them because you want money. The billionaire daughter was like, I didn't need money. I got it. My father's a billionaire. I got money. But they got money. And I want it to be taken away from them for what they did to me. And the other one was like, I don't need money either. Right? She said, I don't need money. The reason why, so what are you going to do with the money? I want to open up a facility for women who's been treated, girls who's been treated like me by them. You understand what I'm saying? So with these women, it's like they're different women from different walk of life and stuff like that. And they have consistently the same story, right? They have
Mm-hmm.
consistently the same story. So I don't know how it's going to go. I don't trust the jurors. After what happened with Diddy, I don't trust the jurors. So I don't know how they're going to take it. I did see that there was one incident where, because we don't get a chance to hear the videos or see the pictures, and I'll be trying hard because when they're standing in front to question, there's a camera facing us, but I think they put some kind of screen so I can't see. I could see an outline, but I can't see. But there was one incident where they were talking about the juror. They could see the emotional impact of the juror because of the story that what they heard on the radio. Oh, and one of the survivors actually wrote the word grape on the door. I don't know. Did you see that picture? She
Yeah.
wrote grape on the door apologize. So they have a picture of that. So that was 17 years ago. That was more than 17 years ago. It's not recent. It's an old door in a location where she was great. So her reaction to what happened to her, for her to write the word. So they have a picture of that, and the jury saw it. So I don't know how they're gonna explain the way what they did to these girls. I don't know, but I don't trust them. I really don't.
All right. Shout out to you, Debbie. So let me ask you a question in regards to Sean Diddy Combs' trial.
Hmm.
He had relationships with these women, but then there was beatings and all sorts of
Yeah.
things going on.
Hmm.
In this particular case, from what I saw when I was in court, they were just flying random girls in
Yep.
off of these apps and
Yep.
then just drugging them and whatever, you know
Yep.
what I mean. So, do you think that's going to play a big part in this case?
I'm hoping so. And also, they had different men who actually, just like the guy Matt, who actually had a party promotion thing. They had them bringing the girls and telling them that they're going to parties and they're going to all expensive, paid events. Young girls too from high school, and inviting them over to do that. So they almost had like a solicitor, right? That's what she was saying. One of the survivors, the last survivors, Miss Brooks. She was Isa, I think Asa, Miss Brooks. I remember Miss Brooks. She was saying, and that's not her real name. She was saying that I thought that that was his clients. The way that they were treating, that he was bringing all these girls around, that was his clients, because he was bringing the girls everywhere, whether it was the club, house, island. He was bringing them in. That's the guy named Matt. So yeah, it's all random women at clubs, at meetings, at bars, having people bring these girls. They are a mini Epstein. And I just read, remember I said that there were Epstein files? I finally had a chance to look up what was said, but the judge, and remind me that the judge said something I wanted to bring up too, but about the defense and their tactics. But I just read up on what happened with the Epstein file when we got to the brothers. The judge asked for any reference of them to be removed completely from the Epstein file. There is a reference in the Epstein file that they have two victims. I mean, one female who testified that the two brothers raped her and the best friend in Epstein's house. So they are already in the Epstein files, right? But unfortunately, the jury can't see it because the jury, that's prejudicial. They will have to throw out the case. You know what I mean? Because it's prejudicial to the defense. I mean, to their defense. But they're already in the Epstein files. Now, one of the things that I love about the judge is that the defense is very trying. They're doing the same tactics that they did with Diddy, where they did keep dragging and dragging and dragging the survivors. And because there's 11 lawyers, they are being repetitive. And the judges keep telling them, like, you're not doing your client a favor by being repetitive and just dragging all these details out over and over again. So they're just very they're just very like trying. And I respect the women that came out. I think right now they said it was like 6 of them that came, but they said they could have 67. They said they have a list of 67 women, but right now they have 6 survivors, I believe, that came out. And I have to give them a lot of respect because this is crazy. These guys, and they're not gonna stop. And it's the same thing with Diddy. I say about Diddy. Diddy's not gonna stop, no matter what anybody say. When he comes
Right.
out, he's gonna do it again. They can't help themselves, and especially if they get away with it, they're gonna come out worse.
Hmm.
So I hope they get found guilty, and I hope they get dragged, and they serve years in jail for what they did because they're disgusting.
All right. So let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about Donald Trump. Today, in accordance with, and also with Clinton's, Hillary, and also Bill tomorrow. Today, the Republicans came out and said basically, listen, Bill Clinton, Hillary, we've been trying to get them for months on end. We finally have them today. We want to question them. The Democrats came out and said that Donald Trump is guilty of something, perhaps with a minor.
Hmm.
And, they went on and on about Trump. Do you think that this is going to be an explosive matter now that the Democrats have said it today in the media?
I mean, I think it should, because I think it's Ted, Lieu, Ted Lieu. I believe that's the representative that said that he saw on the Epstein files that Trump allegedly raped a 13, 14-year-old. He said it's in the files and we need to investigate it. And I don't think that Ted Lieu is crazy enough. He's been there for a long time to come out and say something like that if he didn't actually see it. You understand what I mean? What's happening right now is that a lot of people know exactly what Donald Trump did. I keep going back to Katie Johnson case. I wish everybody would take the time. I read Katie Johnson's case. Before the Epstein files came out, I read her file and it rings true to me. You understand what I'm saying? It rings true based on what certain the receipts that was out. For example, in Katie Johnson's one of Katie Johnson's statement in her lawsuit is that Donald Trump loved massages, right? He wanted a massage. There is a receipt of a phone call that Donald Trump did that has his name on it, his number, and this they identified it, that says he called, and I think it was, I don't know, either Ghislaine or one of the assistants says there's a receipt in which Donald Trump asked for a massage, right? Where's the masseuse, right? And that was a number, and his number was on the receipt. You know, the call logs and stuff like that. So when you start reading her case and you compare it to other survivors and you compare to what other women said about Donald Trump, it's not hard for you to think that, yeah, possibly this mofo, right, is a ped like everybody else. The difference is that America gave him an out of jail free card when they voted him as president of the United States. The man is not going to be held accountable. It's not. He's going to be dragged to hell before we find out the truth. I just hope I live long enough that when he gone out of here and gets dragged screaming by the Dark Lord to the burning fire of hell, then we can find out the truth. That's what I want. I need to find out. I need to be able to, you see, like I said, I think Buckhead or whatever the guy is, he said he don't care what Donald Trump did. He love him. He going to support him. But I want to look at everybody's face because it's going to come out. Nothing is hidden. When we all find out the truth that this man allegedly, I'll say allegedly because this is your channel, because in my channel I don't say allegedly, raped these girls, and there's receipts, and there's photos, and there's videos, then we're going to have a conversation as a conscience of America, because now everybody's going to have to raise their hand and say, hey, yeah, I knew he did. Yeah, I knew he did it. And I didn't care because he could, as long as he didn't do it to my daughter or granddaughter, right? Now, Mel did. Mel don't want to be part of this nonsense, this shenanigans, right?
No, I'm okay. I was having some water. You know. I'm cool.
So I'll say that when that happens, if it happens, then we're gonna find out the truth. But I'm okay. I thought I went too far, man. I think that's okay. But that's when we're gonna find out the truth. And then
so let me
look at people, and they're gonna have to be able to just live with that. Because I don't have to live with having a predator, a pet, as president of the United States. I ain't voting for him. But other people have to live with it.
So let me ask you a question. Why do you think there's no individuals coming forward right now accusing Donald Trump of anything? Like,
they did accuse.
Hey, I'm the victim. I'm saying right now, we don't see them coming forward like they've done for other individuals.
Okay, first of all, there is somebody who came up to, because are you talking about Katie Johnson or are you talking about other? Because there's a lot of other women who came.
No, I'm just saying right now. Sometimes, like with Bill Cosby, other
people,
nobody.
As you can tell, none of the survivors are coming out to give names on the Epstein file. None of them. Even Victoria, prior to her unalivement, right? She didn't give the list of who did what to her, except for Prince Andrews, and that's because she had a picture. You have to understand the person that did her book, and I unfortunately I forgot the author's name. Let me see if I gave the author's name for you. She said that she knows the list of predators. She said it. She said she gave me the list.
Okay,
I know powerful men that actually did it, but I'm not going to tell you the name for my safety and for the fact that that Veronica still has living children. So if you really pay attention to survivors, you will know that none of them really named anybody. Whether it's Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, they haven't named anybody.
But what I'm saying, not even just with Epstein, how come we don't have individuals coming forward saying Donald Trump did this to me? I just want to hear your explanation.
We all did that. We have 60 women, approximately 60 women that say he's a predator. He did several things. There's 19 testimony. I think I read some of
So
them
so
to you
let
the
me
other day.
give it to you this way. You know how sometimes when they have the Epstein and then they have like CNN, they have a whole panel of like five women sitting in a box saying, "Yeah, he did this to me." We see that with Epstein. How come I'm saying we don't have people verbal about Donald Trump? I'm
Okay,
just trying to understand your argument. Some
okay. Hold
say
on. Are we talking about now and right now? Or are
now,
we talking about
now,
before?
now,
Beforehand,
now.
right now, because they're tired. That's what right now is about, right?
Mm.
America is almost think of black women, right? Black women, we already said that we on a break, right? 92% y'all voted this mofo in. Is on y'all. We taking a break. We ain't gonna continue to fight y'all. We're good. That's how we feel, right? That's how black women feel. I think the survivors feel the same way. There's not much to say. What do you want me to say? Like really, we told you everything. We told you that what he did. We told you that he assaulted us. We told you everything. Nobody cares. So what is the benefit of them coming out now to even sit down and talk to any media? First of all, we don't trust media. Media lies, right? Is as a result of media that we are here because media helped in a way to defeat Kamala and give us Donald Trump. So most of America, corporations, businesses, media was impactful in Donald Trump getting the second term. So what the hell we have to say? Except for congratulations, guys. Y'all got what you want, and we're just gonna survive in this world. So no, why would they even come out right now? Because nobody really listens to them anyway. Nobody cares. The only reason that my MAGA brothers and sisters, in all respect, no disrespect, sometimes I find that I have to put my head down and close my eyes because it hurt me to say this, but no disrespect. But you guys won, right? You guys proved that you guys had the power, right? You running this world. What is it of what? Why should we keep hitting our head against the wall? What we're doing right now is just surviving in the world you created. Congratulations on that. And the reason why they were so hard about the Epstein file is not because they thought Donald Trump was in it. My brothers and sisters of the MAGA persuasion of the far right, they were like, we're going to get the Dems because we got to prove to our family and our base and to ourselves that it's the Dems that are the predators. That is the Dems that are the pets. And they've been dragging us for years for supporting Donald Trump just because he did a little touchy, feely, squeezy. And he great, according to Gene E. Carroll, right? E. Jean Carroll, that because he raped her in the dressing room, he was just being a boy. He was just getting some ass. You understand what I'm saying? That because he did it with Stormy, that's a man's thing, right? But you guys, as Dems, want to make it into such a big deal. So we're going to tell about y'all guys, about what the Democrats have been doing. And guess what? We have a file. And the file is going to show all the Dems that did this. But that's not what happened. When they opened the
Okay.
file, they started realizing that, well, the Republicans is in here too. So now a lot of them, not all of them, is backtracking. They're like, okay, maybe we don't want the files too much. So
Hmm.
that's why they're not coming out. What do you want them to do, Mel? They've been talking about this since 2015. Since the man came out in 2015, you know how many survivors came out to try to warn America about it? They
How
don't
many?
care. They don't care. They
Okay.
don't care. And I read
Bon
some of them to you because the other day, remember I brought it up and I read some. They don't care. So
all
that's why I
right.
don't want to say nothing. So anyway,
So
the book is from Nobody's Girl, a memoir of surviving abuse and fighting for justice. It has Virginia Robert Godfrey in it, but I'm trying to find who her co-author is because she's the one that helped her write it, and she's the one that says that she has a list of all the people that gave her that Virginia told her was part of the very powerful that was part of the Epstein um you know
okay, so Bonnie says Trump called the police on Epstein. What do you have to say for that?
when that's what I have to say when he called when he called on Epstein.
It's in the media that he contacted the FBI to say that Epstein was a deplorable individual. This was back years ago. It's in the
What
media.
video?
What's that?
I mean,
It's
I'm
on. I've seen it on Fox. I've seen it on different
did
stations.
you did you did you say you saw it on Fox?
I saw it on Fox and a few other places,
What
but
other few places?
it's actually on video.
All right, then I want to see it.
There's confirmation of it. I'll get it
Okay,
for
so
you. But anyway,
Donald Trump
Bonnie,
came out. Donald Trump. I just want to make sure we understand. He came out and he said Donald Trump's came out in the media and says that Epstein was a rapist who was raping 13 and 14 years old in the thousands, right? And that he should be under the jail and that he believes women and that happened. That's what we're saying. Donald,
not in those exact words, but the same sentiment. Yes,
or the same saying that he's deplorable.
absolutely.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll Google that. I'll Google that for you. So, okay,
And
let's just say that.
one of
Let's just
the
say he did that. Let's just say he did that.
okay,
So why, so where was Ghislaine Maxwell in all this?
she was there the whole time.
Did he make a call about her that she was deplorable and
I'm
stuff?
not sure. I can only speak about what he said about Epstein because that's what I heard.
So why did he move her from maximum prison and why is she living in a cozy jail, and why is there a lot of conversation that says that he might pardon her, and why did he send the attorney general over there to ask her softball questions, and then she know that he was involved and she now lying, and as soon as she lied and said that he was a gentleman and he was not involved, he moved her? Why is all of that happening if he felt that Epstein was deplorable and his girlfriend was involved? Why is he doing so much for her?
You would have to explain that.
He would have to explain. Okay, thank
No,
you.
I'm saying that's your argument, not mine.
Oh, okay, no. I'm just curious because all of a sudden he called. This is the first time I'm hearing that he called somebody, so I will look it up because I would love to hear how he
No,
called, what he
but
called, what he said.
Bonnie is right though. I can confirm that it's been in the media two different ways.
Oh
And
yeah.
there's one representative that came out about 2 weeks ago
Uh-huh.
and said that Donald Trump had reported it to the FBI. So
When
for what it's
do we have the year? I'm just curious.
I could probably pull it up at some point during the show. It's very easy
Yeah,
to pull it up.
I want to. I'm actually going to Google it myself because I want to know if it was before 2015, after 2015. It was 2006. Nice. All right. Why don't just I'm gonna as you go. I'm gonna Google it. He called about Epstein. Okay. Let's just do.
Correct. Yes. So
Mhm.
that's on record. Okay. So let's keep moving here. While you're
Oh,
doing that,
this is interesting. If this is true, is that why that when he spoke to Michael and spoke to Stephen Banner that he was so angry and that he said that out of all of us, Donald Trump is the worst of us all, that he's done things that I could destroy him. This is what Epstein said. I could destroy him and make sure that he doesn't come to power. And Michael, I think it's Mike that wrote the book and said, no, wait until he allegedly wait until it was not like he actually said it, but I'm just using my own word that you need to wait. Don't do anything because you'll have the most powerful person owing you. Is that why Epstein got mad and told the truth about Donald Trump during that time because of that?
what do you think?
Okay. All right. All right. I'm Googling it now. Go ahead. You were saying.
No, while you're looking that up, I was getting to some of the comments. So many people are here. So I just want, while you're looking that up, I'll just breeze through a few of these. Okay, we have Crested by Design. Shout out to you. Um, Joni. Okay, Ashley's in the building. Animals lives matter. Shout out to you. Lori. We have Honeybee in the building. Carol. So many great people. A lot of great people. Judy. Okay, Caprello. Caprello is hard at it. Thank you for all the support. We have so many people. Judy. Okay, thank you, Stella, for telling everybody to please hit the like button, share, and subscribe, guys. Help support the channel. We work hard over here. We have Bonnie says Nick Bryan explains that Mel. Okay, there's an NDA. Okay, so there's some NDAs. That's a good reason why. Okay, so that was an argument too. Go ahead.
BBC says the document is a written record of 2019 FBI interview with a former Palm Beach police chief who alleges Trump called him after the department launched an investigation into Epstein and said, "Thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone had known he's been doing it." So, according to what I'm seeing, the document is written in 2019 about an FBI interview. A former Florida police chief said he received a call from Donald Trump in 2006 in which the now told him everyone knows about Jeffrey Epstein behavior, according to an FBI document released by the Justice Department. The document is a written record of a 2019 FBI interview. Is that what we're talking about? So you mean to tell me that the police chief in Florida all of a sudden recalled in 2019, right? After Epstein is arrested and Donald Trump is the president, right? Wasn't Donald Trump the president until 2020? Now, all of a sudden in 2019, we got that he recalled. He recalled in 2006, right? So you're right, it's here. I just want to know what happened between 2006 and 2019. Can somebody tell me? Let's continue. Thank goodness for stopping the memory. The officer's name is redacted, but the document identified the interview subject as a Palm Beach police officer at the time of his Epstein investigation. That was Michael Reeder, who told the Miami Herald that he received a call from Trump. The president has consistently denied any wrongdoing relationship with Epstein and has said he does not know about his crimes. So he lied there. Okay, now come on now. Which is the truth, Bonnie? Which is the lie? Is the lie that the police chief actually got a call from Donald Trump, and Donald Trump says that thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone knows he's been doing this. Or is the lie when he now says, I didn't know he was doing any crimes? Which one is the lie now? That's what I need to know. Because he's not saying, I don't know nothing about it, sir and ma'am. I ain't know he did none of that.
Okay, all right.
So we need to know. But thank you for that, though. I appreciate it.
All right, good deal. So let's switch gears again.
Oh,
now we're going to talk about.
Just having fun, Mel. I was just having fun.
I see. It looked like you're having too much fun over there. So let's talk about Nancy Guthrie.
Okay, now that's so yes, that's a very sick.
But before we switch up, because another key ingredient to this was the Clintons. Do you think the Clintons did anything wrong?
I don't know. I mean, and I love the Clintons. Let's put it out there. I met them personally. Great people. I was part of several panels with Hillary Clinton. I know her. I met her. Let's put it out there. Full disclosure. I love them. They're good people, very charming, very accommodating. They're very supportive of survivors. I'm a survivor of pew-pew violence, so I love them. All right, so let's just put it out there. I don't know what the hell Bill did, but unless you could tell me that Hillary was on the island, and so far, we don't have any indication that Hillary was on the island, then I believe that Hillary, when Hillary was like, I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about, I wasn't part of none of that. Right? Also, Hillary, one of the things I like about her is that she doesn't give two shit in the F about none of this and none of y'all. Y'all can never scare Hillary Clinton. From the very beginning, from the first time that she went into a hearing, she's not one of those people that you could drag or scare or anything like that, in my opinion. So I haven't seen any receipts that Hillary Clinton has been part of any of this Epstein thing. Now, I don't think that Bill Clinton is stupid enough to do something either, especially with underage, because he likes the adults, okay? There's been no indication all these years that Bill Clinton likes the children, like Donald Trump, allegedly. We all know he likes the adult. With that said, though,
do you think
what happened, I have to wait and see what his testimony is.
Do you think you're biased because of being a Democrat?
I think that I've met a lot of Democratic bad people, and then I went against them. I could tell you that. I've met a lot of very bad Democratic people. So if you're bad to me. You understand? I don't like Trump because Trump is a very nasty, evil individual. I've said it over and over and over and over again. Donald Trump hasn't done anything to show us that he's a good person ever. He could have came into this presidency, right, and gave us the guy that he sold in The Apprentice. If he came in, because I loved him in The Apprentice, he suckered me too. I watched The Apprentice like everybody else. You understand what I'm saying? So I really liked that. I was a fan. I was a fan. I loved it. I was
So
like, oh my God.
what makes him different than the
Because
guy in The Apprentice?
he came out here and he started being racist all immediately when he came down the escalator. He came out the escalator and says, you know something, what I want to do, because he just reminded me of his true self. He reminded me of the reputation he had in New York. He fooled me for a while there because I had to remember this is the fool that actually tried to unalive the 5 or Central Park. They said 5 because one of them is not here. But originally I thought it was the Central Park 6, right? We know that he tried to railroad those young kids, and I'm a mother of 2 black men. You understand what I'm saying? So I take it personal, and I'm a New Yorker. So I take it personal that he tried to drag these poor kids into it. So we already know he was a piece of crap. We already know he was a racist. We already know that his father and them didn't want black people to be in the building. We know all of this. We know his reputation in New York, right? But when he became The Apprentice, a lot of us, especially me, I enjoyed the show. So I'm like, maybe, he grew up. He became, a more, a less, he learned from his mistakes and he became this person that's there who is charming, who is very receptive, right? Who's given opportunity to all different type of nationality and giving them an opportunity to succeed. That's what he sold. But when he walked down the escalator in 2015 and started talking about Mexicans as rapists and thieves and lies and stuff like that, that's the Donald Trump that we knew. I'm like, yeah, you're about that racist bullshit, right? Now, a lot of people allege, including my Haitian brothers and sisters who are about to be out of here because he's taking away the temporary, you out of here. Y'all voted for him overwhelmingly in 2016 because a lot of Haitian people.
If they're here illegally, do you think they should go?
No. And they wasn't here legally because they came in as a result. I'm not talking about right now. We're not talking about legal immigrants. We're talking about temporary protective order. That's what I'm talking about right now. Right. So the Haitian people came in after the earthquake and they've been here. I'm talking about them. Anyway, because of that, I'm just saying my Haitian brothers and sisters, because I'm Haitian descent, I could talk about them. I can't talk about the Latinos so much because I'm not Latino or everybody, but I can talk about my Haitians. My Haitians were very determined because they loved him some Donald Trump because Donald Trump is rich and he's intelligent and he's important and he's going to do the right thing. The problem is the Haitian people didn't understand that when he was talking about Mexican, he was talking about us too. He was talking about all the nationalities. He was talking about Jamaicans. He was talking about everybody black and brown. But everybody was like, oh, no, he ain't talking about us. He's just talking about the Mexicans. And isn't it true that the Mexican does this and that? Until we started seeing what he was really about, that he doesn't want black and brown people in America. He doesn't want to give black and brown people the equal opportunity. He doesn't want to bring black and brown people from other countries to help to give them what is accepted in this world. He doesn't. That's what he became evil. Now, after he did that, then he started stopping people from coming in who have their residency and their legal status of immigrants coming in. He stopped that. Then he started separating kids and putting kids in cages and stuff like that. Some of these kids still didn't find their parents yet. Right? Then he just started doing other things, right? He started disrespecting all people with disability. He started disrespecting veterans. He took away benefit from veterans, okay? He started disrespecting black women, all right? Calling us all kind of names. You think we forgot all the black representatives he called out and cursed them out and called them cows and pigs and stuff like that? He just was a nasty, disgusting evil human being. And he hasn't changed.
We were supposed to be discussing the Clintons. I don't know how we got back on Trump.
Because you asked me a question. As far as Clinton, I want to see what Bill has to say. I personally do not think that Bill is stupid enough, right, to actually be caught or associate with someone who is underage. First of all, I think they would have found out about it years ago. They would have found out when they did the first impeachment. You understand what I'm saying? You can't tell me that you already found out that the president of the United States got a job at the Oval Office. You could find all of that out. You could she had the dress and everything with his DNA and everything, and you can't find out if he was tiddling with a kid for years. Nah. So I don't think there's any there. But again, I want to see. Of course, I'm nasty. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you for recognizing. Welcome to my world. You're new here, anyway. So I want to make sure now that when I hear what is said, because I do want to know what was up with him in the pool, because they hide the face of the person that was swimming with him. So I want to know who was in that pool swimming there. You understand? I'm not saying that anything happened, but I want to know. So once I hear what he has to say, then we could have the conversation about Bill. As far as Hillary, I haven't seen one receipts, one anything that indicates that she was at the island, or there's any pictures of her with any of the kids or anything. I haven't seen anything. So Hillary, I don't have anything to say about Hillary.
All right, good deal. So let's talk about Nancy Guthrie. What do you know?
I don't know anything about Nancy except for I feel bad. I thought I heard that she had a heart monitor or something that they monitored, and that there was a ping in it,
A pacemaker,
and there was a ping in it. That's what I thought that I heard in the report. But now listening to you, there's nothing. There was nothing to it. There's no new evidence. It's just she just disappears, and there's no new evidence.
Okay. Yeah, so basically they're trying to say around 2:10 there was a spike in her pacemaker, so a lot of different channels are trying to debate what did that mean? Was she awoken? Because we're getting conflicting stories as to speculation as to how the person was able to obtain her. The daughter said 2 days ago that they came and took her from the bed. So people are really running with that. I don't know if she's speaking literally or what, but even on the second day, the sheriff said that she was taken from the bed. So maybe there's some truth to that. But the issue is most people don't know how it really occurred, so everybody's just coming to their own conclusion about it.
So okay, so maybe I guess I thought that the ping happened recently. So she was okay. So February 1st, she was taken on February 1st, right? So
Correct.
10 days later, if there was some type of ping, it would indicate if it's true that she was still alive 10 days later. But yet we haven't heard anything, seen anything, and this is day what, 26,
Yeah, something
right?
like that.
So if there was a ping then, why is there not a ping now?
That's a very good question.
So yeah, this is a hard one for me. For me, I mean, I don't know. Blessings to her and the family. I hope that they are smart enough to keep her alive, because apparently I'm hearing now that there's $1 million reward. Don't ask me why there wasn't $1 million reward initially. I never understood the 2,500 offer. To me, you understand what I'm saying? It's just weird. But I think some people really feel that someone that's a lot closer to her is involved. I'm not saying that, but I've heard some reports that that's what's happening. But I don't know. I don't know. Now that you're saying that they're going to Mexico, wasn't she in? Isn't she in where are they? Texas, California? Where were they taking? Where was she abducted from? Arizona, right?
Yeah,
That's what
Tucson,
it was.
Arizona. Yeah,
How far is the Mexico border is from Arizona?
60 to 70 miles.
Okay, well, okay. All right. So,
So, so Homeland Security, they were flying into Tucson when I was leaving, and they were going into Mexico to look for her.
but don't you
So,
think it's weird? I mean, here's the thing, and I'm going to say this. Uh, You don't think it's weird that we have one of the most powerful, we allegedly the most powerful country with all of these resources, and they can't find this woman? And she's a celebrity. It's not as if like we know that
are,
for years regular people have been missing, abducted, and taken out of here. We know that, and sometimes we never heard anything about it, right? But it's very rare that besides the baby, what was that baby that was, and she wasn't celebrity, but because she was a baby, they never knew what happened to her. But besides that, most we find out most of the time when something happened to celebrity, and that's a celebrity mom. So you mean to tell me that they cannot find out what happened with everything, all the resources we have? They can't find out what happened to that woman.
Well, that's the way it's shaping up. I mean, whoever pulled this off, it looked like they didn't leave much DNA behind, and the little bit they left, they can't really get a read on it.
And you don't think that it's because the federal government don't give a damn about the situation?
No, I mean, they're active. I mean, that's just my opinion. It seemed like they're all over this case, you know. Like
So
for
now,
myself, for a fact, I know the Homeland Security came in. It's not reported on widely, but that's something that I experienced for myself, so I know that. Um,
so that means that they decided to take on the case because remember beforehand it was alleged that the reason why they wanted
well,
to barbecue
they
was
might be
state.
taking over the case for over the border,
Oh, okay, because
And
it's
the
a border.
FBI and the
Yeah.
sheriff still probably have their deal going because yesterday I think some of them were at the property.
Okay.
But when it comes to over the border, there's
I get it.
something's going on that makes them think that she's in Mexico. So
I
you
don't
know
know.
that's
I feel
just from
bad. I
that.
feel bad. I honestly think that if it was a high profile MAGA far right GOP family member, they would have found her already. That's just my opinion. I'm just putting it out there. I could be wrong about it, but I think they would have scorched the earth to find this person. I just don't think they really care that much about Nancy Guthrie. I just don't think they do. I mean, right now it's making them look bad, so now they probably picking up the pace, right? Because it doesn't make you look bad that a famous mother is has disappeared, but I don't think they had the
I
same
think Donald Trump reached out to
dedication.
Savannah. He
Oh,
reached out to Savannah and said, you know, listen, we're going to pull out all the stops to find your mother.
when did he do that? When was
Probably about 2 weeks ago now.
just 2 weeks ago? Let me see. Um, so
I
she
mean,
was
don't quote me exactly on the time
no, no,
frame,
I
but
mean,
he did
when he
at
got the
some
call
point.
because February 1st was almost a month ago, so he couldn't have called her the second day or the third. He loved to tweet all night long, so he couldn't have decided like maybe the second third day. Hey, we know we care that I'm gonna do everything. You waited until 2 weeks, 2 weeks later, 2 weeks maybe possibly. Oh, that's nice. I can almost promise you that if it was one of his people's mothers, they would have been in Mar-a-Lago already, and he would have
Right.
hugged them. He would have hugged them just like he did Erica, like this.
Hmm. Oh my, Lord have mercy.
I'm saying. So I'm just saying.
Damn.
So yeah. So hopefully
So let
they find her. Hopefully she's still alive. I would hate to think of her not being around, and I hope the $1 million give incentive so that they could get her back. But this is really horrible story, in my opinion. That you're talking about someone that famous mom, and now the people going to feel emboldened to do it with other people. So everybody has to watch out for their family members, whether you're rich, whether you're a celebrity and stuff, whether you're poor. You need to watch your family members because now they're emboldened. They're emboldened now, and then somebody is they're gonna try it again with other people.
right, right. One thing that I did hear as I was leaving town, mentioned by an
And
agent.
by the way, thank you for being out there and doing that. And thank you for being up there with because you were outside with the Clinton and the Clinton deposition, right?
Yeah,
Thank you for
that's
being there, for giving us the hands-on coverage. I love it. I love it. Thank you for being there. Go ahead.
all
You were
right.
saying.
Very good. And now I lost my thought.
I'm sorry. I just had to compliment you. You say while you were
Hmm.
outside there in Arizona.
Yeah, that's right. So, one of the things that came out is that this agent said something to the effect of they felt like the person had inside information. So that haunts me a little bit, trying to figure out what does that mean because there's no elaboration on the point, but why do they feel like this person had inside information, especially so I'm just going to give you this rundown before we move on from it. So basically, we hear about this whole thing happening with her. She goes missing. The sheriff comes out and gives vague details in regards to what happened to her. But I think it comes down to Occam's razor and that this whole case is going to be really simple. Like, looking at this from afar, I would imagine that, oh, this ransom letter seems bogus. But after I went out there, I was able to understand that perhaps the person in that first letter did put some items, because if you keep in mind Harvey from TMZ, he keeps saying that the feds are really paying attention to that first letter.
Mhm.
So the fact that, and I broke down before I got started, before you came on, I broke down about the floodlight in the back and how that may have been attached to January the 11th. So if the person mentioned that, and also that the Apple White watch was at the foot of the bed, and let's say, for instance, because there's a period of time that the family comes in before the police do, perhaps, because they get the call from the person that went to church with her,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
But if the letter is accurate, then you have to take that into consideration, and then you would understand the motive as to why she was taken, right? Because how would anybody have known about certain items within the house? But something got their attention from the first letter, and if we're going to put any credence into the first letter, then you would say, oh, okay, so this has to do with money, right? Because the letter presided with money, okay?
Hmm.
Now, going back in time, going back, they discovered that someone was actually Googling her mother's name, and they say also someone was Googling how much money did Savannah make. Okay?
Really?
If that is true, right now, this is something that I discovered. They arrested the guy named Carlos. Not arrested, they detained Carlos. I want to be very clear. And supposedly he was in the back of a police car 4 or 5 hours. Now, as to why they detained him, some say it's because his phone was pinging in the area. But out of Carlos' mouth, if you go back and you listen to his video,
Hmm.
he actually says, oh, they think I was Googling this woman's name. Prove it, prove it. He didn't say I didn't do it. He
He
says,
said, just prove it.
prove it,
Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
I'm not trying to put anything on him, but that lets me know he was the first person detained. And
Mhm.
that lets me know that they were looking for, or they had figured out, probably through Google, that people were actually looking up, Nancy Guthrie. So if you start to just look at the overall picture, it starts to come together rather simple, because now they're tying everything. Well, they're not officially saying January the 11th, but all the rumors that I heard on the ground were tied to January the 11th. The authorities are saying if you have any camera footage from January the 11th, they say on January the 11th, someone was Googling about Nancy Guthrie.
Okay.
They said that still photo, which the guy has on different shoes, I could show you right now.
Okay.
If it's January the 11th, it appears
There's, yeah.
someone was doing a
Run a,
test run
yeah,
or
run
something to
across.
that effect.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
but the rumor on the street is that they also broke the floodlight in the back on January the 11th. That's another rumor. Okay,
There for
so
it.
I
Okay.
want to make that very clear. So you start getting a picture, and I'm not saying this is 100%, but we're just having a discussion.
Mhm.
The beginning of November, Savannah comes to town. They have a big parade. I'm saying parade loosely, but they have this big event. I'm Savannah Guthrie. This is my mother. And also, she would bring her mother on the big stage, too. Now,
Mhm.
all of that may not have anything to do with it, but even before that, the mother's name was Googled. So I just want to make that clear. But after it, it seems that there's several times when they're looking up who is Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie, income, where does she live, right? And then on January the 11th, somebody looks up the address as well. So it's almost like people are recognizing someone discovers her. Then you have people Googling her. Then on January the 11th, it appears someone does a test run, or maybe they wanted to do it that day and got cold feet, changed their mind, and then they came back on February the 1st to execute. So that gives you an idea. But if the person is putting out hard facts in that first letter, which it appears, then you start to get a picture of this could be, or where this could be going. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I hear you. I mean, so yeah, they could have done a renaissance or whatever that word is, where they did a practice run where they Google her and get information and stuff like that. A practice, and they could have broke the light so that to make it easier for them to get in. I understand that. My whole thing is that unless they know her personally, how would they know? Unless, okay, after they picked her up, right? Did they leave the letter? Did they leave the letter once they picked her up, or they did send the letter after the fact?
After it was 3 days, 72 hours, they received a letter.
So that means that, okay, so it's possible that they got into the house and they saw all the different the watch and everything like that. So they were able to, get the description and put it in the letter, right? So it's possible that, so that it could be anybody that did that and say, yeah, I definitely have your mother because this is what was happening in the house. Okay. In regards to the Google search, right? Did they pick up the person? So the guy Carlos is the only one they think that did the Google search?
Well, he was questioned about it, and he was picked up. He was the first one picked up. So that tells me that the feds knew about the whole Google searches
From
because
the
he's
beginning.
saying he said in an interview, he said they're asking me did I Google Nancy Guthrie. So that puts him in a hot seat, right? But
Yeah.
he said instead of saying I didn't do it or
He
whatever,
said, prove it.
he says prove it. So that's a little weird.
Mhm.
Can't put anything on him, but I found that to be kind of odd
Yeah.
that he was asked that almost as though this could have been a probable cause of some nature. We don't
Okay.
know because they're not putting out that type of information.
Okay.
But then they also picked up other individuals. I think they commandeered a mother and two sons, and then the guy they picked up his car at the Range Rover at this restaurant that I went to called, I think it's like Culver's or something like that.
Okay.
So you don't know because the thing is with the feds, what they come through and they'll touch you. You see what happened like with Sean Diddy Combs
Yeah.
and the other people. They'll come through, they'll touch you, but then they'll keep their eyes on you. They'll start building a case and they'll
Okay.
start putting two and two together. But it looks
Oh, we don't
like
know. We don't
it,
know.
it looks like the house is being turned over. It's almost looking like they're hitting a stone wall, but we don't know that because the feds don't always telegraph their hand.
Yes, this is true. Now, in regards to the letter, when TMZ got the letter, who did they turn the letter to?
Either to the sheriff or probably to the feds, I would imagine.
So they didn't tell anything to the parents, the family. They didn't speak to the family and say that we got a letter about you.
I didn't hear anything about that.
Okay. I don't know. I still hold TMZ accountable for delaying stuff.
I'm
That's
starting to hear a lot of people in the comments talk about coyotes. Could somebody explain what's that about? Maybe I'm missing something. I thought it was,
they're probably saying that they fed her to the God forbid, God forbid, God forbid, God forbid. It's almost like
but I'm just trying to understand because we have the video of a guy approaching, and I don't think he was a coyote disguised in someone's
oh
clothes or something
a
like that. I
traveler.
don't.
Oh, coyote as far as a traveler. Yeah,
Oh, okay. That's what they
yeah.
mean.
Okay, that's
I'm
what
just.
somebody said. I guess
Let's see.
did they call them coyotes? Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I see what they're saying. Like human trafficking. I get it now.
Yeah, you
Okay.
gotta be careful because I'm on TikTok. They don't like words like
But when you look at the case for its face value, at first from afar, I found it hard to believe these ransom letters. You start thinking about somebody over in another country just taking advantage, but it's starting to look more like it's all by design.
it has to be by
By the
design.
time you start putting everything together,
You,
and it's almost like when they reached the date and they didn't pay, it's almost like the same person, changed their strategy from ransom money to now they're trying to get reward money. They're like, hey, we did all this. We got to get something out of it. You see what I'm saying? That's
in
just that.
regards to
It seems like all of this. At first, it was unbelievable, but now it's starting to seem like it's all shaping up, like just like Occam's razor. It's like it's all coming together.
yeah. First of all, us the person was like they're talking about the actual animals, not the actual travelers.
Oh, they're
Somebody
talking about the actual animals.
Yeah, that's what they said, that there was a lot of coyote outside. So a lot of people that's what they're talking about. But they would have found anything. If coyotes had anything,
Well,
they
I
would have
was
found something
I
else.
was out there boots on the ground and I heard a lot of dogs and that was the other thing. I
Yeah,
mean, I
but they
know
would have
everybody's
found something.
talking about coyotes, but also there was so many dogs out there.
Yeah.
And also there's a couple things that I just want to mention because now I don't know if these people have their dogs in at nighttime, but during the day when everything would happen, dogs would just be barking. I'm like, wouldn't that have threw up a red flag for somebody. Sometimes even dogs inside the house, they'll bark about things outside.
Exactly.
The
This
other
is.
thing is
Mhm.
she
Uh,
has a looping driveway with a lot of rocks, you know. Every time the sheriffs would come in to that driveway to exchange, they do it like 3 times a day.
yeah.
You could just hear the rocks churning. It's such a loud driveway. Like you can't pull in there. I'm pretty sure I'm from the south, so we had rocks. You could just hear people from afar when they hit the driveway. It's churning.
Hmm.
Okay, even when you walk on those rocks, you just hear it so loud. So you could come to a reasonable conclusion that the person stayed on the street with whatever vehicle they came with, right?
Hmm.
Now, I know there's a video out today in regards to some cars that are 2 miles away. Um, I don't know what to make of that, so I can't really speak about it. There's so many roads in there, and when you add 2 miles to it and all the traffic, I don't know how people can really pin that
Okay.
to the deal, but it could be. But I'm just saying, it's a little too far for me to want to. I would need to know more about it, because see what happens is on, I think it was Friday the 13th, some rumors got out about some guy who took his own life, and he was sitting in the front seat and he was on the street, all these stories. And this is how the mainstream media say, "Oh, it's those YouTubers making this up," so they're trying to that's these are the ways that they're trying to use it against the YouTubers and so forth. So I
Yeah.
would say you would have to chill out a little bit with um, some of the speculation that are getting out there could be a reason why, because I overheard them talking about it too, and that's what they point to, saying YouTubers are putting out false information, and it could be
That's what you
quite
want
a
to be
scary thing.
careful.
Okay, there's a lot of comments, guys. I'm gonna try to breeze through a lot of it at the end of the show. Bear with me.
Yeah, I
Um,
want to ask you a question, right?
did you see what happened with the coyotes?
No, I
Did
didn't
you?
see what happened with the coyotes, but I'm
Oh,
reading the
okay.
timeline right now. Did you take a time to read the timeline that is being written out
No,
about sir?
no.
So they said at 1:45 a doorbell camera at,
147, 147.
I'm sorry, you're right, 1:47 a.m. a doorbell is disconnected by a mask and glove hands. So how do you know to disconnect the doorbell, right? I thought that it was smashed. So now that's something concerning, right?
The smash part has not been confirmed by the sheriff, so
Okay.
that part came out by a YouTuber. She did the best she could. I think maybe they're trying to say they smashed it to get it down, but when you think of
It's
smash, you're talking about the
like,
glass in it. None of
well,
that has been substantiated.
well, right now I'm just reading again. I'm reading Wikipedia. The information on Wikipedia, everybody else is just the information, just like the YouTuber.
Yeah,
But I'm
yeah,
just
yeah,
reading to say if this is true, right? Then they say that motion was detected in February 10th. The FBI released footage recovered by Nest camera background showing an armed individual tampering with the device. Tampering. That's not breaking. That's tampering. Another thing. The third thing that freaks me out is at 2:28 a.m. Gertrude pacemaker app is disconnected from her phone.
yeah. That's
Sir, who
so
would
the
know
time.
that she has a pacemaker app on her phone?
No, 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 no. Let me explain.
All
Okay.
right, go ahead. I'm listening.
So right here I have Bluetooth, right? I wear in my ear. When I walk away from my phone about 10 feet, it starts to disconnect.
Okay.
So she has a pacemaker in her heart,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's just like when you have a neural stimulator put in your back, right?
Mm-hmm.
That unit has a battery that's supposed to last 7 to 15 years, so you don't have to turn around and have back surgery or heart surgery every time you turn around. So that's what she has, the pacemaker in her heart. And now they have the technology to tie it into her cell phone,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's what's happening, because I heard a psychic, right? And I'm not taking shots at psychics, but the psychic said, "Oh, I feel like her pacemaker is within 1 mile and she is somewhere else. Like they would have to have did some serious surgery on her." So I think people get confused about how it works. But
Okay.
at any rate, let me give you the timeline real quick.
Okay. Go ahead.
147,
Mm-hmm.
the camera disconnects, right?
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly, it's the front door camera. They said 210, I believe, her heart pace. pacemaker spikes or something. Let's see. The other time is 212. I believe 212. The sheriff says that there's motion at the door. It's almost like they get a digital format. Like sometimes, if the camera is inaccessible, you'll get a message saying there's motion at the door, but
Hmm.
you can't see it.
Yep.
But here's the thing: there's has been a debate about there being a camera inside the house and the front door, but the sheriff says we don't. It could have been a raccoon or something, so that leads you to believe that he's talking about the camera outside, because who would have a raccoon, or would you be looking for a raccoon inside somebody's house? So 212, there's motion outside, right?
Okay.
228, her heart pacemaker has disconnected from her phone. So everybody keeps saying, "Oh, this whole 40 some minutes, what was he doing, Eating a cheeseburger?" No, it's actually, you probably want to look at something that, if it's true, at 210 her pacemaker spikes, you want to start maybe looking there. But 212, there's still motion outside, so you could roughly say, oh, this is that individual probably still gaining access. But that's now 16 minutes, is not 40 some minutes he's in the house tinkering around with her. You see what I'm saying? So that's a short window of time to get a lady out. Let me ask you a question. How many nurses in your life do you know have went out on workman's comp for just trying to move an elderly person in the bed?
They're,
140, 150 pounds, you
they're
pull
heavy.
your back all day. Okay,
This
so
is why a lot of people have like the bed sores because they
okay.
can't move. Exactly.
So now you have to take this person and get them out. That's a whole lot happening in 16 minutes, right?
Mm.
Not only that, you've been at the property for 40 minutes. You could say, they got to the property 147.
Yeah. So
Why would you be so, listen, why would you be so comfortable at that property when you don't know if she saw you on the camera with your garb, right? Her kids might be tied in. A lot of people have their whole family. I mean, technically, elderly people should have all their kids looking in on the
and they,
camera.
yep.
But this person was moving as though they had inside
All
information,
the time at work. Yeah.
like they knew something that had some inside information. Maybe that's the part where the Homeland Security guy said they felt like some element there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
keep in mind they're still going to Mexico, so that makes you wonder. But anyway, I think I've said
I
enough for
mean,
tonight as far as this
well,
go.
thank you about that. My whole thing is, did they find her phone? Is her phone in the house? Did they say that?
According to what we understand, because it disconnected. So yes, the phone should be in the house, and
Okay. So,
her watch apparently would be in the house too. So,
okay. So they left those two. So yeah. I mean,
but it's starting to look like all of these components are matching together. I hope you
mhm.
understand what I'm
Of
saying.
course I
Okay,
know exactly. We don't want to
and
say
and,
it,
and listen, yeah,
but
we're
it seems
speculating, but
like it's not
but
a
if the
it's not a
first
random
letter if
situation.
the first letter is correct,
Mm-hmm.
you also get the motive.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe somewhere along the way they could no longer prove proof of life, and that changes the dynamics, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But you could, even the letters that are coming to TMZ, it's like somebody, it's the same person changing the format to say, hey, we can at least get 100,000. We may not get millions now because we can't prove. You see what I'm saying? So but all of the story kind of jive together. She comes to town. Maybe that's not the only case here. She comes to town November. After that, they're looking. But even before that, they said back in the summer of, I think around June of 25, someone's looking up photos of the house, the interior. So this could have been a long plan. Um,
I mean, people look in the
who
house
knows?
because they want to try to sell it. So that happens all the time. Realtors will look up the house. A lot of people will look at the house. So that's not new. You know what I mean? Because sometimes they want to. If you a realtor in the area, you look up the house and so that you could have a better idea, either because you're selling something nearby or because you want to approach them for the house. So that's not nothing new. When it comes, somebody did say that kidnappers don't reach out to media. That's not true. There's been cases in the past where someone wants to make a big deal and wants to make a huge deal, so they reach out to the media. I don't know why they didn't have the family's address to actually send a letter. This is why I'm holding. I really feel a way about TMZ and that letter. You know what I'm saying? I just feel that there was some negligence there.
See,
I could be.
see, it gets tricky, right? I don't want to start pointing fingers at anybody, but we live in a world where people, let's say they do routes or whatever, um, and then they find out they say, "Oh, Bob Marley lives here," and he tells Henrico his best friend or Bob,
Hmm.
and then Bob runs with it and says, "Oh, where does she live at?" And people start to things can start, but there has to be something with this whole looking up her address. I can't get beyond that. And I think that's coupled along with the first letter that they receive, and you start to see this whole master plan come together.
I definitely believe that there's a master plan. Okay, I don't believe that it was a random person. But I never believe it was a random person. I never believed that a random person just all of a sudden say, "Oh, you know something? I'm just going to go in there and just take an old woman out of there and then ransom it." It's just too. It was too concise. And another reason why it's not random is because there is no proof. There's no evidence. Do you understand what I'm saying? When somebody do something like that, that doesn't know the location, doesn't know the person, doesn't know anything, it would be you would have some type of mistake. For no mistake to be done, to me, seem like there's insider. It's just me. But again, I don't want to allege anybody close doing it. I just think it's just too precise for me. Now, don't get me wrong. I definitely do believe the federal government at this current stage is incompetent. I'll say that. But I don't think they're that incompetent to miss the clues in front of your face. So that's my whole thing. So I think it's an inside job. I think it's there's something going on there. Now, the worst case scenario, I'm going to say the worst case scenario is that something happened to her and they're using this whole ruse as a cover up. That's the worst case scenario. That's the worst case scenario. I'm not saying
De-
that's not
de-
happening,
define they. Who is they?
meaning that something happened to her, right? And they are using, they contrive. I'm not saying, I don't even want to say it. I'm just saying, I don't even want to say it
We're,
because I
we're
don't
not
believe
we're
it's
not
true. I
we're
don't
not
believe it's true.
defining we're not
I don't believe
defining
it's true.
they. Let's move on. We're not defining
We're
they.
not
Let's see.
defining day. We're not defining day. I don't even want to think that way. Let's just let it go. I just think that there's too much details there that I think that is a random person that decided to come out of nowhere. Right? What is going on with my green screen?
It's okay. It's all right.
Come out of nowhere and just all of a sudden decided to be like, "Hey, we're just gonna take this woman." I just don't see it myself. It's just me. I'm sorry. If it comes out like that, then you know that's some emboldened stuff. Like, it's just too there's no evidence. Like this, I mean, either they almost like what is his name? The Joy 11, the operation, the movie with George Clooney and Operation 13, Operation 11, the movie where they all robbed the casinos, right? Unless it was so exact and precise, they were able to get away with it. I think that something else is in play. That's it. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it alone. Hopefully that she's still alive and she could come home and they catch the person.
Oceans. Thank you to Grumpy. Oceans 11. That's the name of it.
Thank you, Ocean 11. Thank you, Ocean 11. Unless they have something that is that concise, where they have a few people come together, come up with a plan that concise that nobody could capture them, then something else is at play. That's just my opinion. I hope that she is alive, and I hope that they get their mom back, and I hope we find out the truth one day.
The feds don't let up. I have a lot of confidence.
All right.
When I went to court, I always say when I went to court and I sat behind Nicolas Maduro and the way they went in to be able to take him, it's like amazing how the United States can get things done. So I never count them out. I know
So you
you. I know
see,
you think. I know you
you
think
see.
differently, but
So they could go into another man's country and pick up a president of the guy, whether he got elected illegally or not, he was still a sitting president, and drag him and his wife to the United States of America and put him in jail and make him go through trial, but yet they can't find one 84-year-old woman who was kidnapped from her own house in the United States state of Arizona and find out what happened to her. Is that what we wanted? That's competence? Is that competence?
Well,
I don't know, Mel.
you know, that's
I don't know.
your perspective, but I think that
Yeah.
they're still working on it. They, we don't know exactly how far they are. A lot of times,
Oh, why don't we talk about the United States hockey and the racist award-winning hockey team that when we saw the picture, there was only one brown man in there, and that was what's his name? What the damn man?
we'll have to save that one for next
We
time.
should talk about that.
No.
Why Donald Trump disrespected our female hockey players and disrespected them, but yeah, he's so happy with the all-white team.
We want to end on a high. We want to end on a high note.
Whatever. We'll talk about it next time. I just want to know what's going on with that.
We want to rejoice in the hope. We want to rejoice in the hope.
Okay, so before we leave, did you see what Candace is doing with Erica? She has a part. Did you see? So you know what she's alleging? So she went to saying that this woman is involved in the unalived, possible, allegedly. Erica, don't come at me. I'm just reporting what I'm hearing. Allegedly, she's trying to say that this woman didn't love her husband and is part of some kind of high-level government op to unalive her husband. That's Erica. That's the first part. Now she's coming in and talking about how she groomed a 15-year-old to get a skanky picture by a creep photographer. And now she's trying to figure out if she is using the actual trafficking non-for-profit to actually set girls up. The woman is insane. I watched the first 30 minutes of the first Erica episode she did, and I was reading. I have to go back and read it. I don't know how far Candace is going. I don't know what Erica did to Candace. I told that woman, I told Erica, leave Candace alone. Candace gonna go in that, and Candace has lost her damn mind. Okay. I'm just saying we need to keep an eye out on that story.
I don't go into that section anymore.
Oh, you don't?
No.
You know what? It got me interested. No. You and all the others got me interested in paying attention.
Well,
I'm in there.
I was covering Charlie Kirk's because I'm going out to Utah to cover Tyler Robertson, so that's the reason why I look over there sometimes. But all that other stuff about who's a man and who's a woman, it's not my thing.
She left that alone. I'm telling you, she's focused. She's laser focused on trying to associate the man's. Is she a widow or a widower? Because I always get it mixed up, right? She's trying to say that this woman had a part in the unaliving of her husband. Oh, she's investigating. I'm not saying, let me be fair. She's investigating, and the implication to me when I hear her is that, hey, we don't know who she is. She just showed up. She didn't go to the elementary school that she went to. She didn't go to the kindergarten she went to. She just popped up out of the blue. She didn't really like him anyway. There was something I read where they said she didn't really like him anyway because he wasn't even her type. And that she like big, and the mother was not a single mother. The mother, she had her father in the life. The girl lost her damn mind. She lost her mind. I'm just saying, we need to pay attention. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So here, let me break that down for you real quick.
All right, you gonna break it down? Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's that type of. Now I'm not knocking what she does, right? Because she's asking questions and so forth. But it's that kind of stigma with the YouTubers when you start getting into those subject matters, especially outside of somebody's home, that you give the mainstream media a real reason of looking at you a little kooky. See what I'm saying?
This is true, but
that's where you got to kind of stay away from that if you want to do legitimate.
I agree, and
problem solving.
And I understand about, and I personally don't go after people's families and loved ones and stuff. I am interested in her story, what she's doing, because she has a lot of receipts. That's why I'm interested in it. Now, of course, a receipt is as good as the story, right? You could use a receipt and you could make it mean one thing, or you can make it mean another. With her is she has a lot of receipts. That's why I'm interested. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's who it is. Thank you, Sherry, for saying it. But yeah, that's why I'm interested in it. But we'll see what happens. I just don't understand why it is. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I just wanted to end on that. But other than blessings to Nancy Gertrude, I hope that they find her. Hopefully, they have some leads that are legitimate. My thing with them is that they're trying to make. I'm very upset with them because of what happened when they unalived the El Micho or El Michi in Mexico the other day, and the Mexican government went after the cartel, and a lot of the far right commentators and political officials was trying to make it into an ICE issue and make it into a immigrant issue in the United States to say, look, these are the people that the Democrats are fighting to keep in this country. So they're using this cartel person and all the rotten thing that he did in his country as a slight on America immigration system. And I think that's wrong. So now them going to, because I see it that way, now there's a whole uproar. I don't know if they have it resolved where Americans allegedly was running for their lives at the airport, and they show a picture of a nurse running, and I see nothing else around her. How do I know it's not a regular picture? You understand what I'm saying? There's so much stuff going on when it comes to it. So now they say that they're going to Mexico to look for her. I don't know. I just think that right now they're trying to use Mexico as a red herring.
All right. So I just want to say real quick, guys, hit the like button, share, subscribe. We have 250 people here. Caprello, if you would like to come up, feel free to come up now. Or if anybody else would like to hit the link and come up and have a brief discussion with me.
I Nancy wants to know what the heck am I talking about? I'm talking about when they unalive the high ranking criminal in Mexico that was a cartel. A lot of Stephen Miller and a bunch of the GOP representatives went online on social media and said, look, this is what we did over here with the Mexican government. We got rid of this bad guy, right? And this is the type of, El Mencia, thank you so much. This is the type of guy that the Democrats wants to give permission to either come into the United States or stay, because ICE is getting rid of criminals like that guy. What I'm saying is that allegedly Americans was in danger in Mexico, and what the GOP did instead of trying to figure out how to get American out of there is to blame the Democrats and the immigration system to say that we want criminals like this here, right? And everyone that they're trying to get rid of and arrested are criminals like that. They don't want to talk about how they unalived two white people on the American street that had absolutely nothing to do, and they're American citizens. And that some of the people, a lot of people that they're picking up and exporting are sick children and people who has legitimate paperwork to be here, asylum seekers. They're not talking about that, but they want to make Mexico the reason why we should be applauding ICE and their shenanigans. That's what I'm talking about. I hope I made it clear.
Okay. All right. Anything else you'd like to express tonight?
No, that's it. Anybody want to come up and have a conversation?
Well, I think the one guy that wanted to talk a little bit, I think he's gone now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. But thank you to all the amazing people that came through tonight. We had a lot of support tonight.
Thank you for coming.
And tomorrow, you'll be at the courthouse for the Alexander brothers.
Yes, I'm gonna look. I'm gonna wake up and look and see if the case is if it's still going, because sometimes they took Friday off, but I think she wanted to have Fridays because it was going so long. So yes, I'm planning on going there in the morning. If I wake up early enough to go there in the morning and catch a couple of hours, go to work, and then come back in the evening. But I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. If the defense rests, I'll probably not defense. If the government rests, I'll probably stay there for maybe a half a day to hear the defense take. But if they start having witnesses that's glorifying these guys, I'm not going to be able to do it, because I'm going to curse somebody out. I really am. I'm telling you right now, I've been very respectful, right? Because I am press and I'm trying to be non-biased. But after I hear what these guys did to these ladies, if I'm hearing they have people coming in talking about how these guys are amazing and they're great and this and that, I ain't gonna be able to stay. I'm gonna have to be out of here. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. So I probably won't stay the whole time. Unlike Diddy, when Diddy was like, Diddy lawyers was like, we have no witnesses, Your Honor. That's what I want to see them say. We have no witnesses, Your Honor. Let's go to deliberation. That's what I want to see. But apparently they're gonna be bringing in some people to testify what amazing guys they are. I'm not gonna
All
be
right.
all of it.
Very good. So
So I'll let
we reached our time.
All right. Try to get
Two
rid of me, huh?
2 hours. No, we hit our 2 hour mark. So you wanna give any closing remarks before I do?
Yes, thank you so much, everybody, for being here and stuff like that. I think I was much nicer today than I have been the last few weeks. I'm trying to be more forgiving of the administration and not cuss out Donald Trump on a daily basis. I'm trying to be a better person. I'm trying to be a better person. With that said, please join my channel, Mama Flip Live. This is the channel you see here. Also join Mama Flip Slots. Mama Flip Slots. We're still trying to get to over 10,000 subscribers. This is where me and my mom, we play slots in casinos. It's a lot of fun. Please join us there. All right. Thank you so much for being here. I think Mel is doing an amazing job. We should definitely applaud Mel because he is out there, boots on the ground to get the stories for you guys. And he's bringing a lot of amazing people here to tell you what we personally see in our lives, right? We're not making any assumption. We're actually seeing and keeping it real with you guys. So please applaud him because I think he is just one of a kind. I don't see too many people doing that, giving other people opportunities to speak their mind and to be part of the story. So thank you to Mel.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So I want to say a few closing remarks tonight. Can I do it? First of all, I want to say thank you to Mama Flips for coming on. Tonight is Thursday, and we typically have her on to give her expressions and talk her talk, and that's what she does. In conclusion, it was tough for me to go out to Arizona to a place where a lady's missing, and you just wonder how could someone do something so mean to an elderly person. Or sometimes we see these things happen to children. And it goes to show the day and time that we're living in. People do not care. And so, my point of reference is this: a lot of times we live in a reality that may not be totally real. In other words, your experience in life is not everybody's. And sometimes we accept people on our own merits. So if you're a righteous person, perhaps you accept people from that same reference point, and then you give people the opportunity, and then you end up in a situation where you're missing or you've lost your life, and the list goes on and on. So the point of the matter is, it's very important to lock your doors at night. Get your alarm. If you have an elderly parent, you should be on their ring. If you have a child, you should be on their 360. But these are the times that we're living in. And to give you an example, when a lot of people get upset about the ring camera and they're saying, oh, we don't want the ring camera to pick up a dog because it's going to pick up me when I'm coming home. A lot of people, when you look at that, you would say, well, if you're not doing anything nefarious, what's the big deal about a camera? Because we're not keeping in mind that people have such technological advances that they can hack into your ring camera and then study your habits and understand when you're moving, when you're leaving. And so that could be a major issue. So with technology comes responsibility. And so in order to prep yourself as best as you can against this, you have to move wisely. And we're all so caught up into technology so much, right? A lot of times we go to Walmart and we're in our cell phones, and every 5 minutes it's going off. We want to see. In fact, when we talk to people nowadays, even if you go out on a date or you're sitting across from someone, sometimes I see people that just on their cell phones. They're both sitting there at the table on the cell phone. It goes to show where we are. But within this arena, we leave gaps. And in those gaps, people are going missing. Because it's just like a person that works in a prison or some type of environment. You come and go and you're living your life, but that person that's commandeered or in prison, all they have is to think about you all day long. And they know what time you go on your lunch break, your coffee break. They know when you have to use the bathroom. So it's easy for them to make a determination in those gaps in your life when to take advantage of a situation. So I say all of that to say we need to do an assessment of our lives, and especially the elderly, the children, because all of this is happening because people are not paying attention. And attention has become the number one commodity of our time. Isn't that backwards, right? Everybody wants attention, but nobody's paying attention. And with that, I say have a good night, but pay attention. Have a good night, everybody. And thank you, Mama Flips. Thank
Different voices, but the same song. Loving a world where we all belong. Kindness leading the way, breaking the chains. In the symphony of love, the flame remains. Embracing diversity, brighter days in sight. Watching the world sharing love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony, painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might. Watching the world sharing love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. The colors of harmony, painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.